Today I want to talk about just kind of how our limiting beliefs kind of frame the way that we think. It kind of puts us in a box and holds us back from what we can do. And you know, when I was younger and buff, which obviously is not now, I used to go to the gym almost every single day. Actually, I went. It was like it was my religion. I mean, I went every day. And I was lifting weights, and they got those hammer press machines, you know, the ones that you just kind of push up and they kind of come together at the end. And I would use those, and you know, I was in pretty good shape. I'd put, you know, 245 plates on each side, and I'd work out with those for my chest, and I you know, I felt that was good, and it was hard, and I stressed to really be able to do it. But I kind of didn't know, you know, how much more I could put on, and I was kind of new to all of this, and that's what I was working out with. And I was still seeing some results. I was fairly happy, but you know, one day this guy comes into the gym and he looks at me and he looks at the weight that I'm lifting, and he goes, "Yeah, you should be able to lift more than that." I look at him like he's crazy. I'm going, "Well, not really. I mean, maybe I weighed 175, 185 pounds, something around there." And he goes, no, you should be able to lift more than that. And this guy was, you know, he's a little bit, you know, smaller than I was, not quite as big. And I go, "Well, what do you mean?" And then he sat down and he actually put another 45 plate on each side, and then he did a set. And he goes, "Well, if I can do that, then, you know, obviously you should be able to do it." And I actually sat down and said, "Well, you know, it makes sense to me." And I tried, and I just did it. And I wondered to myself, how long ago could I have done this? Had I actually believed I could, or tried to get there and do it? Now, I'm not saying go to your gym and add a whole lot of weight, hurt yourself tomorrow. I'm just saying that at that time, I had a limit to what I thought I could do. And it took this, you know, this gentleman coming in, a little bit smaller than me, and kind of showing me that he could do it, and it making sense to me, like, well, if this guy can, then obviously I should. I'm heavier and bigger than he is. I should be able to lift more than him, and it all made sense to me, and I just did it, and it now became part of my routine. We form these limiting beliefs for whatever reason, whatever circumstances you had in your life, and you believe that you can't do something, or something's too difficult, or it's too far away, or, you know, say, okay, well, let's, you know, what would it take for you to make $1 million a month? See, right now you're probably thinking, okay, yeah, that sounds really nice, but let's be realistic. Well, okay, sure. What would it take to make $1 million a month, though? What would you have to do? Well, I can't do that. Okay, yeah, you're right, you can't. Especially if you say you can't. That's never going to happen. But what would it take? See, what I'm doing is I'm just kind of ignoring whatever it is that you're thinking is limiting you. And you need to ignore that. This is an exercise you should do. You should just ignore, okay, yeah, sure, that sounds crazy, but I'm just going to ignore that. I'm just going to think about what it is I could do to be able to do that. So set a goal that you want in your life, whatever it is that you want. And this applies to your company too. Set a goal that you want in your company. And then just grab all of those limiting beliefs, it's not possible, and just throw them away. You know, if somebody wants to be a devil's advocate with you, just say, okay, you know what, just sit in the other room, because that's not what we need. We don't need to contemplate about how impossible something is, because you'll be right. If you tell me how impossible it is, I promise you it will be exactly that impossible. So could you just leave? Because we want to talk about how possible it is. We want to look at what we could do to make that actually happen. And you'll liberate your mind. You'll change your mindset of thinking, and then you'll also see new things that you didn't see before. And I go through this all the time through businesses that I've run, companies that I've owned, and clients that I've engaged with where they just have these things of, yeah, you know, that's good, that's great, but it just would never work here. Yeah, I see how wonderful it would be to achieve that, but we would never be able to do it because we've got all these problems, and we've got this, and we've got that, and they just give this huge laundry list of excuses as to why they'll never be able to do it, and guess what? They're never going to be able to do it. And you do this in your daily life. When you're at your job and you have a new idea and you think that maybe this could help and it could help you get to your goal, and then everybody just goes, okay, let's all get together and let's just crap on that idea. let's just put a whole bunch of crap on top of it, and then let's just figure out why it's not going to work. Let's try to break it in as many ways as we can, because that's not possible. Won't work here, right? And it just limits what you'll think. It really does. It limits the ideas that you'll have and that you'll implement, that you'll try. You know, it is the antagonist to improvement. So I guess it kind of depends on how you want to live your life. Would you rather guarantee that you will not get what you want by thinking it is impossible? Or would you rather think in a way that it is possible, and if you do that, it will make the impossible actually possible? So it's a choice that you make, right? So I'm going to say everything's impossible, and I'm going to guarantee myself to never get what I want. Or I'm going to think that everything is possible, and I'm going to look at what I have to do to get there, and actually make what seems impossible a possibility. How do you want to live? How do you want to think? And if you think the other way, I promise you'll see more opportunities to be able to accomplish what you want. Now, all of this boils out, it's a little bit more complicated than just this. I mean, there are certain things that are absolutely impossible. Maybe. I'm just saying that it's not good for you to think that way. Because if that is your primary way of thinking, you don't free your mind to be able to see what you can do to get what it is that you want. And whether that's in business, in your personal life, it doesn't matter. That law applies equally everywhere. So what do you want for yourself?